Hi, my name's Louisa from Global English TESOL courses, and I'm also an online English tutor. I've given hundreds of trial lessons and I've done quite well with them. So I thought I'd share how I structure a first trial lesson. So the first thing to say about trial lessons is that when I realized that actually the trial lesson was about the student and not me, they went much better. And what I mean by that is I was tempted to say, here's me, here's my biography, here's how I teach. And the student would sit silently and listen and maybe hear or not hear. Well, as soon as I ditched that, realized it was about the student, it was their time to speak, their time to share their objectives, then the first trial lessons went much better. So that's what I do. Basically, it's an exercise in listening, building rapport, and then feeding back what you hear and addressing their objectives. So let's go. It broadly shakes down for me into three sections. The first section and the first part of the trial lesson I call welcome and get your students speaking early. So it might go something like this. Hello, Jennifer. Hi, can you hear me? Good. Can you see me? Good. I can see you too. Great, great. So how are you today? And I might say something like, I'm English, I need to ask you, how is the weather with you? Great. And a nice open question, something like, so Jennifer, tell me about you and your life. And then I will just listen and then prompt or just show I'm listening. Like, oh, okay, oh, really? So England, 3 years. Okay, so it's really showing you're listening and giving them that space and time. Notice how quickly they're speaking. Okay, good open questions, showing that you're listening and understanding them is great. The ratios of talking time, teacher to student, should be about 30% me, 70% them. So that gives you an idea of how little talking you will do as a teacher and how much they ought to do. Part two is the meat of it. And this is where I ask them their objectives in English. And I've got a load of questions. Some of them can include, depends what they say, but they may include things like, so why do you want these classes? How often do you speak English? What problems do you have in English? Tell me about the last time you spoke English, or tell me about a difficult experience you had speaking English. How's your reading? How's your grammar, do you think? How is your listening, writing, speaking? Do you listen and read in English in your own time? What are you interested in? Those kind of things. A load of questions. And again, just depending on what they say, okay, all right, listening all the time. And then when you think you've heard enough, it's really good to summarize back to them some of the issues they have. So it might go something like this. So you have a problem making conversation, right? Yes, they might say. And you feel like you are translating in your head? Yes? Great. So you want more phrases, more vocabulary to sound more natural. Okay, great. And actually that's really powerful. If they're saying yes, 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 then they've said stuff that you understand and you're showing them how responsive you are, that you've heard them, you know exactly what the issues are. And if you've got that bit right, that you've summarized correctly, you can extend that to show then how you're going to meet those needs. So you can say something like, I can help you with that. Firstly, with me, you have a safe place to practice and to make mistakes. Okay, it's very important. We can speak about themes that you are interested in. You said you liked, so I can send you a reading or a listening to do before the lesson. And then in class, we can talk about it using phrases, using new vocabulary. And you will begin to think in English with practice and not translate in your head. How is that? How does that sound as a way of working? Whatever. And hopefully saying, oh, that sounds great. Okay, and you could expand on that depending on what they've said. So let's recap. You've listened to them and who they are. You've got them speaking early. You're listening all the time to their language level, etc. And this third stage now, and their objectives, the third stage is what I call close and next step. So notice what I haven't done is actually really taught them anything, but it's quite neat to showcase a little bit about how you do things. So at this point, I might just say, do you like to be corrected? And they might say, mostly in fact, I think nobody's ever said no. So it's always great to get permission. And then I correct 1 or 2 things only from something I've heard them say earlier. And so I might say something like this: you've done really well today. Well done, well done. There's just 2 things from earlier that are not correct, okay? So I'm going to open the chat box. Can you see it? You said, I'm typing the mistake, you said that it should be, and allow them to self-correct. And then when they've said it, great, or you might have to prompt and tell them, get them to put it in a sentence or something. Well done, excellent. We can look at that tense in other lessons or something like that. Great. So what you're doing there is showing them how sensitive you are in correction, and how clear you are in correction. So make sure you are sensitive and clear, and they know exactly what they're looking at and what the problem is. Great. Then I finish and I commend them with what they've done well today, and a little bit of analysis on their language and level maybe. So I might say something like, well done today. You've had a 30-minute discussion with a native English speaker. Well done. You've understood me. Your intonation and pronunciation is clear, really clear. You've used some natural phrases today, like, and I think together we can explore some interesting themes to develop your language more phrases, more vocabulary, so you'll improve your fluency. So how is that? Is that good for you? Great. Have you got any questions? And if all seems well, no questions, yeah, great, lovely. You can move to the next step, which is beginning to ask them if they'll continue with you. So the first question I often say is, so what times and days are best for you for lessons? Then you can say, great, that suits me, super. So shall we book the next class? Or are you happy to continue with me? Great. There's no harm in asking. They might say, I just need a bit of time and things like that. So, okay, is there any questions I can help you with? But normally at that point, if you've got the yes, yes, yes all the way, and you think you've understood them and you've listened well, and they've backed that up by saying, yeah, you have understood me. And normally they'll say, yeah, great. What do I need to do? And you can talk them through what they need to do. So that's it really. The basic structure pretty much works for me every time. But I think it's putting the time into listening, developing that rapport, which is also really helpful for future lessons. You know, you've got a basis on which to build some great lessons. So I hope that helps. Good luck.